Oh, yes, I can see us.
Oh my goodness.
Yay, we
Leave
are
it for
live.
Facebook. Leave,
How
leave it for face.
exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. It's exciting is that we really got to be going live this thing. They keep changing these things so often. All right.
Oh, they
Good.
do. It's completely different the way to get onto it now than it was before. So, yeah, that's
Well,
technology, isn't it? Hey?
that's technology for you. That's why I garden, because this is, at least I know what I'm doing. And that's what I'm doing. And thank you for allowing me to talk about this. You in Australia and
Yes. Oh,
here in Jacksonville, Florida. Yeah, it's
I'm so
awesome.
happy that you're here, Pat, and
Thank
sharing
you.
something like sharing what you are sharing with us today because, yeah. Oh, someone's on live, so say hi. So, hello, everyone that's watching. Come and say hi. If you're watching the replay, do pop
Mhm.
in and say
I have no idea
replay.
where this is
Oh, it's
streaming.
Karen. Hey, hi, Karen. Good morning to you.
Okay,
So
so
yeah,
it is good morning, right?
it is.
That's what it is, good morning, and that's the awesome thing. And you are, what did I say? You are New South Wales, Australia, and I'm in Jacksonville, Florida, and you are entering the fall, and we're transitioning into spring, so change, and,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
that is an awesome
Yeah.
thing. That's
Yeah.
when it's the right time to get prepared. Sorry, I just jumped right in there.
Oh, no, that's fine. Like, that's what it's all about. Hey, so, but I just wanted to share a little bit about Pat. If you don't know about Pat, some of you may not have met Pat before. So, Pat actually has been a nurse for like 27 years, and he
Mm-hmm.
studied neurology, which is really,
Mm-hmm.
all of the
Brain and backs.
brain and everything
Yeah.
like that. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and then you started specializing, you took in taking care of people with chronic diseases.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And yeah, so you can tell the rest of your story and how you went from being a nurse to growing all this amazing food.
Well, it's I guess what you said about, taking care of people with chronic diseases, you do eventually make the connection that chronic diseases are the result of, what we do, and the standard American diet spells sad, which is very sad, and and standard American diet yields standard American diseases, and we export that everywhere, and it, it is quite uh, lack of empowerment is one thing that I did feel with many of my patients, and I do find some sort of control and some sort of hope is a better word to use when you have a little bit of control on the nutrition, what goes in your mouth, what goes in your mouth. And today I wanted to speak what goes in your mind, because having a garden is not just about, I mean, it is great that we have control and input on the nutrients that will eventually go back to our mind. But lately, especially this year that we've had, we need a little bit of break of what goes in our mind. And and I know that you like gardening, so I'm preaching to the choir here. But I don't know if it's your experience that more and more people are complaining to you, or telling you how they feel anxious, disconnected, especially this 2020. We're gonna localize, or we're in April 2021, so 2020 happened. This is on video, look it up. It wasn't
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
And we're still here. But
yeah,
more people are feeling anxious and disconnected, stressed from
yeah,
the negative news,
yeah,
actually overwhelmed,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, not only that too, also I've been seeing a few articles that have been talking about Zoom meetings, because of 2020 and what happened, and people are now all on Zoom, like doing Zoom meetings. They don't have
Hmm.
that connection either. Like they've no
Exactly.
connection. And they're saying that a lot of people are actually feeling a mirror thing, because they're actually seeing themselves on mirror, seeing them, it's really affecting them psychologically, like to actually,
Correct. It's
so there's a
exactly
whole range of stuff that's happening with everyone. I mean, this morning I had on my phone, like on my news, there were two
Mhm.
articles written about Zoom meetings and how they're really causing people to have a lot of negative effects, you know.
Exactly, exactly. And
Yeah.
and that's exactly what I've been concentrating on, because many people that were not used to, I mean, I know you're used to working from home, but maybe many people were not used to
No.
having that break, right? And let it be clear that I'm grateful of having a business, having a job. And many people, even if you're grateful of having a job, you were not used to having this, right? So this besides how you stand up, how you know your neck is extended, how you have that this constant thing like this in the computer, and not the touch and being
Yeah.
social.
Yeah.
And people are having a hard time sleeping. They drink more coffee or other beverages, and we're just not nice. It's a year of these things. So one thing that we could do, and there's many studies, like I could cite studies about this. There was a happiness. I don't know if you ever read The Happiness Advantage with what is Shauna Aker was talking about. You know how um, we need to dance, we will move and being social, and then people will live longer. And guess what? We haven't been being social for a year, right? But there's also a going back to control, going back to nursing. There's a mental shift that we could do
Yeah.
by action, that we can actually plan and design our healing garden. That's how I call my gardens. I call them healing gardens, because it doesn't mean that we're sick, but we have so much things, stress and environmental things, and I'm not going to go into that. The body will heal if we allow it, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So how about, you still working, and like I said, there's plenty of studies that will tell us that if we, I think it was 90 minutes in Harvard studied, I think it was, that if you take a nature walk, your neurophysiology will change. You will go from, you know, you have your sympathetic system, you have that fight or flight, into the tendon, and repair. Um, so if you're in nature and you have contact with those aromas, with the different creatures, with the bird, I mean, I call them my helpers, the ones that I put the seed there and ends up being there. We have birds, we have squirrels, we have I don't know what. But it's you have that break. You're working on whatever you're working, and you actually go out for 15 minutes. I mean, you go out, you go to the restroom, you drink water, you go outside, and you reset your state of mind. And you will take that holy basil, or that uh, whatever plant is your favorite, or you will bewilder of, I put something here and now there's this beautiful plant. I mean, it's amazing. You actually have a reset in your brain, and you're not escaping, but you have the mental capital now to go back indoors and solve the problems. And
Yes.
that's what I call that you design your garden as part of your self-care routine. So, and it's always been studied that there's plenty of data out there. Like, I don't want to talk so much about studies, but your immune system, there's a correlation between nature walks in your garden and your immune system. And, wouldn't we want more of that, right?
Yeah, I think some of that too comes from grounding, doesn't it? Like there's all these studies on earthing, like that you might have heard, like earthing,
Correct.
and how we really need to earth,
that.
like to either take our
Yeah.
shoes off and touch the ground, because it's actually Mother Earth is so healing that
Yeah.
it will, and so the same as,
Can you see
when
the
you've got
smile on my face? Yes, that's what it is. I mean, I have a shirt on because I was gonna go out. I have shirts and I have no shoes, and I'm one of those that go in the garden, and I don't use gloves, even though it depends who you are, and but I love to touch the soil, and
yes,
I know there's plenty of studies, and besides your vitamin D that you're outside, and it breaks again that it's called rumination, I believe.
oh
Is that ever negative thought that you have of that problem, it just breaks it.
yes, it
So
does.
the anxiety chain breaks.
Yeah.
Now, the other way is you keep thinking about what you couldn't do, the problem that you didn't have. It goes into anxiety, chronic anxiety, yields depression, and there you go. And all their cousins, depression and high blood pressure and diabetes, and all of them are family.
Yeah.
So we have this tool, and it doesn't matter. It really does not matter how big your garden is, or if you live in an apartment.
Yeah.
It really does not matter, does it?
Yeah. No, excuse me one sec. I just want to say hello to the people that are watching. So Sonia and Karen and Katie. So, and someone else, Mum, Wife, Homestead Life. I'm not sure who you are, but
oh, that's Sonia. Yeah.
cool. So thank you for sharing. And Sonia has been. Well, Katie actually was talking about how the American diet was really sad, so she agreed. And Sonia has said it's a great way to use nature and your garden to cleanse your mind. Karen was agreeing that nature's the best medicine, same as Katie. And and the other one, Mum, Wife, Homestead Life. I'm not sure who you are, but you know who. Yeah, was talking about the benefits of health and gut health and not wearing shoes and running barefoot.
Yes.
And just continuing on from what you said as well about being in the sun, I know that there's lots of studies about being in the sun, and if you don't have enough sunlight, so like you need the sun to get serotonin. And if you don't have enough serotonin every day, it will cause you to have anxiety and not sleep well at night. It will actually disrupt your sleep.
Correct.
And cause anxiety.
Besides your is all these feel good hormones, if we would just want to put them all in the same bucket, is feel good hormones that are generated by, just being outside, being practicing the sense of it's called now the science of awe, that you are at awe, you are amazed, and you see how even your face changes when you put something in there and you see. Have you ever seen a passion flower?
Oh yes, we have a passion fruit vine. We've got tons and tons of passion fruit. The flower is
the first time I saw it, I think and I mean, who did this?
I know, isn't it beautiful?
It is beautiful. It is beautiful. And this is the child in me that comes out, and I want to play.
Yeah.
I want to play. Now, I also make an effort of growing my organic soil. I do composting. Techniques in gardening, we can talk forever. But the thing is, is the play. Is the fact of playing, and the fact that I have a home in an urban area, but right there is my playground.
Yes.
And I find that nowadays, because like I said, we're going into the spring, you're going into the fall, I see a lot of advertisement about this gadget and that gadget, and this plastic thing and that thing, and I will like people to think, not to let themselves be stopped at having gardening being so confusing, because if your goal is to get into gardening, into experimenting, and yes, grow, for sure, you're going to grow some vegetables or some herbs and tons of things. I mean, literally tons of food we can grow.
Yeah. And isn't it exciting when you you get your fresh, when you go and pick your fresh whatever, it's just wonderful. Like we just,
it's
get
like
the
a hunt.
greens for lunch, or the herbs, to cook for dinner. Like it's just wonderful to be able to do that.
Yes, like I say, you go outside for a break, and while I'm outside, I go, okay, well, this is what seems to be for dinner. This, and pick and pick and pick and pick. I made a kale salad the other day. It was exquisite. I haven't not bought a sweet potato since 2013 because I always use the same slip and actually have different types. And in the house, I mean, we do supplement. I mean, there's some things that I cannot grow, therefore you buy, but it's by choice. The fact is that you grow, that this is available pretty much to everybody that has a home, that we complicate things so much, thinking the science of gardening is something, from outside the space, and it's not.
No.
The trick is to know where you live, to know what grows well where you live, to get a little bit of knowledge, experiment, be willing to fail. And the precious thing is that if you mess something up, you can compost it. You can actually dig it there and grow something on top. There's no waste. There's no
No,
waste.
no.
There's no waste. So and
And isn't gardening good for you? Like it's mindfulness as well. Like I'm just
yes,
thinking that it's just, you know, when you're
that's right.
out there, it's sort of meditative in a way, isn't it? Like
It is
you're
absolutely.
out there and you're like you know, you're picking it or you know, you're focusing on what you're doing. You're not picking
It's
it
a
and thinking
it's a
about,
yeah,
you
it's a
know,
repetitive task that does not require so much. Yeah, it's like a mandala. Like it's
hmm,
sometimes I say that I somebody was saying that's your meditation path, and probably it is. I also follow insects. I find it fascinating. I mean, besides the one that I actually squished this morning because it was eating my beans, but it is fascinating. And like I said, I get lost in that, and it is mindfulness, and so, and I leave the phone away. I actually, unless I'm consulting something, I take pictures, but it disconnects me, and it's like I said, and that reset, like I mentioned before, is so needed.
yeah,
It just switches you back into uh, into being able, and a person that's being able to produce again and to be joyful.
yes,
Also, I what I love is how social it could be. Like we're talking about being disconnected, you could share stuff, you can talk about. I mean, and I make a point that I grab my kids. My youngest one is 16, but I mean he's my helper. I do also help my mom, and we talk about this or the neighbor, and then it becomes a thing. And isn't it, Angie? This the way it used to be. Everybody, right?
yeah,
And
absolutely. And nowadays everyone's so busy, and especially as business owners, like a lot of people, you know, that on the watching us today are, you know, are business owners, and it's busy. Like there's so many things to do as a small business owner, especially
yeah,
working from home. And you know, it's nice to have that time out, like you said, to have those breaks. And you know,
yes.
Karen was saying that gardening is really peaceful. And Terry's on now. So hi, Terry. And
Okay.
she said nothing's tastier than fresh tomatoes.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, and that's
Yeah,
true.
because
Hey, like there's
it
nothing.
is true.
It's
My husband complained. He said, "What is this?" And he said, "It's fresh bought. I don't know what it was. Tomato probably." And that is called. Those are the nutrients. The nutrients. Once you've tasted something you've grown at home, it's not the same because the soils are depleted when they're grown how they're grown.
yeah,
And if you understand that things grow in season, there's no reason to have the same vegetable 12 months out of the year
no,
if you think about it.
yeah, yeah. And
If
you
you
know,
think about it, right?
yeah,
Because they don't grow 12 months out of the year. So if you're getting those and you feel they feel yucky, it probably they're grown in, I don't know, water, and they're fresh from another continent.
yeah. And the thing is too that I like when you're growing your own vegetables and stuff too,
Hmm.
you don't have any chemicals. There's no pesticides. And honestly, I believe, and I don't know like what everyone else believes, but I just believe that so many of our illnesses are caused these days because of the number of
Oh,
chemicals
Angie.
that we put on our bodies, we put, you know, like in our houses. There's chemicals everywhere. And so if we can stop the chemicals going inside,
And
it
we
helps.
mentioned you mentioned how did you come from being a nurse to grow in this, and I said, I'm still considering myself a nurse, but there's so many things that I have no control over, so many things.
Yeah.
But what goes in my mind and what goes in my mouth,
Yeah.
I do have control. And one of the things that I saw with many of my patients again was the powerlessness, feeling powerless. Now, if you get yourself into a moving, because gardening forces you to move, you have to stand, you have to bend, you have to carry, you have to work your mind to see how you're going to plant this. So you're working, you're moving your body. You will by default eat more vegetables because you're working. So you're going to work on your weight, you're going to work on your hypertension, and your probably on your chronic diseases. And for example, You grow many things that are antioxidants and anti-inflammatories. I grow tons of turmeric and ginger. And I want to ask if you did, because I know in your area you could. You know, at one point a few years ago, I started hurting everywhere, and I don't like that. I didn't like that. And you know, I don't. I keep myself active,
Yeah.
and so that sense of being accountable for your health is one thing that that we could all in society, not the exception. And let's not wait until you retire. Some people say, I'll do the gardening thing when I retire, when I move to the homestead, when I like is right now that we need it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Katie just mentioned that we are exposed to over 800,000 plus chemicals a day.
Yes.
800,000. Wow,
And
Katie, that's
we
huge.
and
Isn't that
that's
huge?
it is huge and it's disgusting. And the fact, this is the other thing, you have your home and you have a fence, and somehow what the neighbor sprayed is not going to affect me. It is not so. What he or she sprayed is going to affect me, and what I do is going to affect her. And it brings to your mind, we do live in this world together. So somebody was telling me this gardening is a drug, is a gateway to health and wellness. And I go, yeah, because you question everything. You
Yeah,
question herbicide,
yeah,
fungicide, and pesticide. What does it have at the end?
yeah,
It's gonna kill something,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's gonna kill the pest. It's gonna kill me. It's gonna kill the fungi. It's gonna kill me.
yeah,
By the way, fungi are great things. So again, it's a state of mind. Now, if and we could philosophize for whatever a million years, but I think if people start to see where this could be more useful instead of a pain, that's the other thing. I find that so many people are taking gardening as a chore, you know? Oh, yeah, but I have to rake here and I have to do that and I have to make it so complicated and everything has to be so beautiful and square and, you know, for the Instagram picture.
exactly.
Right? It defeats the purpose, doesn't it?
Yeah,
It does defeat the purpose.
yeah. Jan Erickson's on. So, hi, Jan. And yeah, she's just actually asked a question. She said that she loves the results of her experimental garden and she's good at
Okay.
planting, but she's wondering if we have any suggestions on how to keep one motivated for the upkeep.
Oh, all right. The upkeep. Well, I think if you actually build it out into your routine, which was what I told myself I was going to say today, is to actually include it in your routine. The upkeep is go outside, observe, just observe every day, you know, and see what are these insects are friend or foe. Are, you know, do I have to top this pepper plant so it will produce more of the Brussels sprouts? That's what I was going to tell you. You want to grow Brussels sprouts,
I
right?
love Brussels sprout,
Yeah.
my
So
favorite.
you have to top that. You know, it just brings you from, instead of watching the news and see who's doing what now, we can research and know how to better take care of the Brussels sprouts, right? We can. It makes it like a game. You know, every day you go and you take care of it. And if you grow bio intensively, meaning you grow a lot of stuff together in a small place, you mix your herbs with your perennials and your annuals. Don't grow rows and rows and rows of one thing, because if you grow rows and rows of tomato, the tomato worm is the one that's going to be happy. It's going to go, yeah, jackpot, right?
Exactly.
Right. So if you know, the more variety that you have in one place, the less damaging insects you're gonna have. The more flowers you interplant with whatever you're growing, you're gonna have beneficial insects, and you have um, a micro um, an ecosystem right there in your house that is actually unique, is unique in your home. And you're gonna have different insects, and you see the birds are gonna get rid of some stuff. So the upkeep is actually variety. And if you want to get motivated, if I mean, I'm gonna say follow me, but follow people that do this, you
Yeah.
know, because I love gardening. And I find it is I love cooking too. I love cooking for my family. I love being able to give something that I cook to my mother. I love sharing with my friends, you know, and it's I mean, not everybody does it, but everybody eats.
Everyone does
So I,
it.
yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
hopefully,
Yeah.
and so I think just even if you decided not to garden, you could question at least where your food comes from,
Yeah.
and that
Actually,
is healthy.
Katie and Terry have both said that they need to grow ginger and turmeric, and Katie said she needs to learn how to do that. So,
Well, you're talking to the right person because actually
yeah.
I'm going to um, have a workshop soon, and I'm going to start with superfoods, and those are two of the main super. I mean, the benefits of anti-inflammatory from ginger and turmeric, and the fact that they're not difficult to grow.
Yeah.
They are not. And have you seen the prices on turmeric pills, capsules? I'm sorry.
Oh,
It,
yeah. I actually get organic fresh turmeric, like, organic powder, and
mhm.
it's quite expensive as well. Like, so
Well,
we really do need to put some turmeric in. I think
yes.
Karen said that she cooks, she not cooks, she grows turmeric and pineapples and ginger and chili and tomatoes and basil.
Yes, and
Yeah.
and then we go exactly that. That is a beautiful thing. So when you start growing, then you go, okay, you know there's black turmeric, you know there's white turmeric, besides the orange turmeric. So you go into the varieties of
Oh,
each food,
wow.
and
How
then you go
awesome.
in the geekiness, which is my life. And then as my kids are rolling their eyes and they walk away, and that's why I do this for a living because I don't have anybody else in my family that will listen to me. So I'm doing this because
Oh, gosh. Yeah. So that's actually Terry said she misses the most is dinner with her parents and her brother and family. And
yes,
yeah. And the bees too. So Karen was saying she grows marigolds and daisies for bees.
yes,
We like at home here, like we've actually got holy basil. And my gosh,
yes.
the bees that we get
They
because
love
of
no.
holy basil is
Listen, the holy basil Tulsi, like
it's
I was saying,
amazing.
it is the then we go into the aromatherapy. You
Mm.
grab those leaves, you have a tense day, you grab those leaves and you rub it in your neck.
Oh, really?
And yes, they infuse you know that's what you have your oils,
Yeah.
your um they make infusions out of this. There you go. But you have it in your backyard, and each different each one of my kids have a different favorite plant, and they rub it here, and it will calm you down. Also, you start learning about herbs, and which herbs do what. I've had knocked myself out one day that I put lemon balm and chamomile, and I put too many in one pot, and I was out, girl. I was just out. That was way too much. So you have to learn. But
Oh, well.
I dry tons of herbs during the
Yeah.
summer, and I put them in containers, and I don't buy tea at all.
Well, and the other thing too was I was only thinking of that. I have thought of this before many times, but you know how you go to the supermarket and you buy dried herbs, like you buy, oregano leaves, or you buy this or that
Or
we use in our cooking, and it's like, how many of those are full of chemicals? Like they
correct,
would be,
correct.
all
And
of those herbs and everything that you buy from the supermarket, they will be full of pesticides and chemicals. I'm sure they don't grow them organically when they're selling,
and that is the point. Why? So when you start growing a garden, you go, why am I going to grow this? For example, oregano is another fabulous herb. It
Yeah.
has tons of medicinal properties. And you have Cuban oregano, you have Mexican oregano, you have Greek oregano, and you need to start learning how to prune it and this and that. Now, you when you buy the herbs, you buy them by ounce, half an ounce, a third of an ounce, and you start adding that up, and I go, huh? And I pay 250 for this. Yeah, it's worth my time. Yes, it's worth my time, right? Plus the butterflies, you start going like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so, and
Yeah.
it does make a lot of sense. And again, I want to emphasize, include it in your daily routine.
Yeah.
Does not have to be a weekend chore. It could be a daily thing,
Yeah.
and you learn to enjoy it. Yes.
Absolutely. I was just thinking, with the herbs and stuff, there's no reason, like even on a balcony, you can get those things that stand on a wall and have the little containers, that stand on a wall, and you could have lots of herbs in there.
Absolutely, yeah, because herbs do not require direct sun.
So they could be,
Plenty of
on a
herbs, yes.
wall. Yeah.
Plenty of herbs require that full sun, and again, depends where you live. And that's one of the things that I do is I teach people how to take advantage of the usually four walls that people have in their house. You have the in your case it's opposite, but here's east. The sun usually comes out from the east in this side part of town, and where does it come out, and where does it set? And the opposite walls. One is more shady than the other. And then learn what plants grow better in the shade, what ones need sun in the winter, which one will need. It's kind of a game. And then you master your terrain. And I grow 12 months out of the year. And I lived in Montreal. I know one of the persons who's here lives in Montreal, and we used to grow humongous zucchinis and tomatoes and cucumbers in a little space that I rented. I had a school on the other side. It was noisy, but I will grow whatever I can, um, because that's what you have. In 6 months, you will grow a lot of stuff, and figs and grapes and stuff like that. But indoors, I still kept plants in the winter because it's good for your soul. It
Yes,
just
indeed.
oxygenates your house. So
Yeah.
whatever way you want to see it, again, it's good in your mouth, in your eyes. And it's something that we can actively do. We're not a victim.
Absolutely. Hey, Pat, thank you so much for coming. I know that we could be talking about this for hours.
I just felt that we could talk for hours.
And
I
hours and
just saw the
hours.
clock.
We probably should catch up again and do it again sometime. But just, would you like to share? I know that you have, how can people contact you? I know you've got a workshop coming up at some point. Do you want to talk about how people could contact you and about the workshop?
I'm trying to, would I put it, where would I put it?
Okay, so we can post a link. We'll post a link to so you said you had a free gift, which is a guide.
It's a growing guide, and the purpose is because it's a growing guide. It does talk about what I was talking about, the house, and how to choose better space and how to grow. I call it the 5 S's of growing, and the sun, the seed, the season, whatever, the stress. I forgot which one is the other one. But mostly it keeps you in touch with me, and I'm excited about the workshops coming, and probably gonna do one on herbs and so on. And I just want people to start growing for their health, because that is something we can do about, and then we'll share with our kids.
Yeah. Well, thank you, everyone. People have been saying thank you to us. So thank you. And
that's awesome.
I think we'll post the comments. We'll post a comment with the link to the free guide. And and when you're ready to run your workshop, we can pop back on again and we can talk about your workshop and continue the conversation, because like I was saying, I'm sure we can keep talking about this for ages.
I just figured that. And yet here I was concerned about you didn't have anything to say. Well, I should have known better.
Exactly.
Well, so thank you, Angie.
My pleasure. So thank you. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much, Pat. And we'll talk to you all again next time. So take care. Check out Pat's link, and let's talk again next time we run one. So thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.